Ask Professor Dave.
Hey guys, welcome to Ask Professor Dave. In the first installment of this series, we went over the question of my ethnicity, as so many of you wanted to know about that. And today I want to address another question that I get very frequently. It regards my career background and educational background. A lot of you want to know where I went to school and what I studied, and a lot of you want to know if I currently teach in the flesh, and if so, where. And furthermore, a lot of you ask very incredulously, are you a real professor? So I wanted to knock out all of these all at once and just sort of give you a quick summary of my life and career since college. So as you might remember from the first Ask Professor Dave, I told you about how my parents emigrated from Italy. They stopped off in Canada for a little bit for graduate studies, and then they came to New York State, where I was born. And soon after that, we moved to Connecticut. So that's where I grew up from age 4 all the way through high school. I was living in Connecticut and not really doing a whole lot. But then I went to Minnesota for college. I went to a liberal arts school called Carleton College, which is a really great place. And while I was there, I got a bachelor's degree in chemistry. So here's me looking real tough in the cold winter. And immediately after that, I went over to California. I went to UC Santa Cruz to do a master's program in synthetic organic chemistry. But I didn't really last long. I dropped out in my second semester. I wanted to move up to San Francisco and play music. So I was there a couple years playing in some different bands. And all the while I was supporting myself with substitute teaching and tutoring jobs, that sort of thing. And then I moved down to Los Angeles, again, for music opportunities. And when I first got here, I was doing a lot of teaching jobs, a lot of tutoring, private high schools, things like that. And but I eventually got this teaching job for organic chemistry at this little trade university here in the LA area. And it was a pretty lucky break because with a bachelor's degree, I was only supposed to teach the laboratory portion. But on the first day, the lecture instructor had this freak out. He just took off. And so my boss came up to me and he said, look, you got to go teach the lecture because there's nobody here. So I taught the lecture for that semester. And then the following semester, I taught the Organic 2 course as well. And I did a good job for both of those. Students seemed to respond well. So they offered me the job permanently, but contingent on me getting a master's at the same time. So I went over to Cal State Northridge to give a second shot at a master's degree in chemistry. And I did that for a few years. I was researching and studying over at CSUN and all the while teaching this organic chemistry course, which I did for a few years. So I think about 8 times I taught the course. So I really honed that material. I got good at explaining that material. But through a bunch of bureaucracy, quite frankly, I lost that job and along with it, the funding for my master's program. So I had to withdraw yet again from the master's program, but I didn't want these lectures to evaporate into the ether. I wanted them to remain in some tangible form, even if I wasn't going to be teaching there anymore. So I decided to record them to camera, just as I would be speaking to my class, and put them online, and that was the birth of Professor Dave Explains. So that was a little less than 3 years ago, and I chose the name really without much thought. It was kind of tongue-in-cheek, to be honest. I just thought it'd be fun to have like a little persona, Professor Dave. It's just a little name, and so that was it. That was the first stuff. The organic chemistry stuff was the first that I did, which you can probably tell. I mean, it's just me reciting lectures to camera, essentially from memory. But people responded well. They really liked that stuff. And so I decided to do general chemistry. But this time I wanted to spice it up with animations and things. And people responded well to that too. So after that, I became obsessed. I just really wanted to create as much content as possible. Cover as many subjects as possible with the limit of really covering everything there's to know. And I'm back in school for a third attempt at a master's degree, this time in science education, so it's a little bit different. And I'll be done in the spring. But to be honest, I really don't have any desire to go back to teaching after that because I'm doing this full time. I sit literally in this room like 60 to 70 hours a week pumping this content out for you guys. And I love doing it. I really hope to grow as a communicator and find new opportunities to help the world understand science. So if you like this channel and would like for me to continue doing what I do, I really sincerely hope that you will consider supporting me on Patreon, as I really do not earn very much from YouTube, and it's very important to me that all of my content remains free always for all of you guys. So any contribution there would help me a lot to do that. But failing that, if you could just subscribe to the channel and tell all your friends to do the same, that would help a lot. So that's it for today's Ask Professor Dave. I got to get back to animating some math and biology stuff for you guys, so I'll see you next time.